Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Miami Minutes. This is the podcast where we're like family, you and I. Not me and you, personally, the listener, but me and... Actually, me and Miami connection? I don't know. There's some kind of family connection going on there.
I like to think that the listeners are our family.
The family we don't know and have never seen. Which I guess a lot of people...
Much like my real family, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go. It's like we only visit once every 6 years. And it's very awkward, and then we're just thankful that it's over for a while afterwards. Because you're out of obligation for a while. But I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am your other host, John Parker, here to invite you to turn off and sit and listen. We'll take care of the other things. It's all good.
That is true. It's not false advertising. We are literally, all you have to do is sit and listen to us as we record in our Coke bathroom. Once again, getting ready for the big night out here. Because again, very talky minute. Minute 47, very much just the aftermath of the previous minute. But 47 opens with a debate in a bathroom. And it ends a minute later with the fondling of a butterfly.
The fondling?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see when we get there. But
I just like the choice of words. Who doesn't love a good fondle?
It was more for the alliteration with the fly. Yeah.
It's funny that you say it's a talky minute because, listeners, I have to address it. I'm ill. So if I sound terrible, that's why. So I'm going to be talking. But it's not going to sound good.
The listeners are going like, "Oh, John sounds great. He sounds way better than usual over there.
Sounds extra sexy, right? Yeah, smelly cat." That's a dated reference.
No. I think that still stands. The people who are fans of Friends will know what that is, and then I think now it's still massive on Netflix and stuff, isn't it? Because I know there's always an increasing amount of people finding beef with it. Because to be fair, there's a lot to find beef with in Friends. Like it's dating by the day, quite literally.
Yes.
But no, I think that'll stand the test of time. That reference.
No cats are smelly anyway.
Well, everybody wants to talk to you about cat deodorant, John. But yeah, man. Speaking of things that are potentially smelly, we're back in the bathroom here with Jeff and Jane. Great, you just hear a guy go into the urinal in the corner there.
Oh God! Imagine the smells if this was a bathroom. Especially in a gym where everyone's taking protein powder. Let me tell you, protein powder shits are the worst shits. Not that there's a good shit, but Oh,
what are you talking about? There's plenty of good. There's plenty of good shits. One you've had in the oven for a while. You're just dying to get out, and you go up, you get your newspaper out and stuff. You make an hour of it. That's an enjoyable experience, isn't it?
I'm not into it. I'm not into doing it. I hate the whole concept of it. I always feel like I need a shower afterwards.
Really? Oh man, you and I are we are very different, John. And so you've seen many a time me with a magazine tucked under my arm, just like, this is from 7 to 8 p.m. This is me. I'm out of here.
And you shout, put on a pot of coffee, John. This is going to take a while. Then again, the coffee would help you shift it.
I thought it was weird. I can't remember. This wouldn't have come up in this show before. I was talking to someone about it recently because I was so just like, what the hell is going on here? I was
with your bowel movements.
Well, I do have a doctor's appointment tomorrow about that very thing. But 36. that's your kind of problems you're dealing with.
TMI.
Yeah, but no, it's because I'm rewatching The Sopranos, and there's an episode where Tony Soprano, obviously boss of Jersey, is talking to Johnny Sack, who is the erstwhile boss of New York. He's the second from the top. He's almost there, kind of thing.
Johnny Sad Sack, I'm going to call him. Okay.
But there's a scene where they're just out clubbing, and then they're talking in a toilet. Tony's at the urinal, and Johnny Sack is just sitting on the toilet with the door line open, pants around his ankles, smoking a cigarette, talking business to Tony Soprano while having a dump. And I'm just like...
Wouldn't you see a bit of hanging dong?
Well, that's the thing. I think if you're already in the bathroom, even if he was next to him at the urinal, that would be, But it's the fact that he's sitting there, I could never be comfortable in that scenario of just, letting rip while talking to someone, like it's way, way, way too much of an invasion of privacy. It's just like, that's all. You go off to yourself. You go to the little private corner and do your business. And then, because I personally don't even like going to urinals next to people. I'll just rather have it like I'm a stall man, as George Costanza would say. But the concept of just having like, middle-aged men just like talking to each other, one sitting smoking a cigarette, with just the bathroom, like a stall door hanging open, and just been like, just letting everything out. Hearing things hitting the water, as if it's just like, no big deal. I'm like, is that a common thing for people?
No.
Is it my personal hang up that like, oh no, I would never breach that?
No. It's not common. I would say that's supposed to be telling you something about the character. That he's so cocky and he so doesn't give a shit, maybe, that he's just like, I'm what?
He's given too much. Given too much.
Too much of a shit.
Like stuff we just do not need to know. But that was just like. But then I know, like, it's one of the big things that, the cliche is that, girls will go to the bathroom with each other. And in the movies and stuff, it's always to, like, you always see them reapplying makeup and stuff like that. But, like, does it, if any female listeners out there, if you could write in to explain, don't have to go into too much detail, but, like, would you then be comfortable having the stall door opening and just pulling down your pants and being like, just everything's coming out? We're in the bathroom. Like,
no.
Everything.
I know some people have had to pee in the same stall. Not the same time, obviously. That'd be awkward to pull off.
Maybe it's like, maybe
you wouldn't have a shite.
Maybe we're both too like standoffish, because I know there's a friend of mine from like back in Ireland too, and I remember one point her saying that like her friend had really curly hair that was difficult to get shampoo out of. So like when they would go to the swimming pool and the showers after, she'd always invite her into her cubicle so she could help like get the shampoo out. And
that sounds like a living hell.
Yeah, but that's just also too is like, well, there was no build up into like, other than we started our love affair, which is where you kind of think that's going to go. Yeah. But it was just like, no, that's what I do for my friends. Like, I invite them into the shower cubicle with me and we do this together. I was like, that's way too intimate with like someone who's not your partner. Like, and that's not even Johnny Sack having a shit next to Tony Soprano. Like, I was like, there's boundaries, people. You got to set up these boundaries. But
see, I would rather a stranger saw me naked than a friend.
Yeah.
A friend seeing that's more awkward.
Because then every time they see you, they're always going to be like, yeah. But I think she was one of the types who was just like, no, everyone's seen me naked. I don't care. Like, I was a guy friend. I'm pretty sure I nearly saw her naked several times. He just didn't give a crap. But.
I mean, we've all met people like that, and again, it's cool. I support it if that's how you want to be. I don't get it. For me, I couldn't do it.
Maybe me. I'm a big swinging lefty, and I'm telling people to put up barriers. You'd think I would be more like, to tear the barriers down. People should be having shit next to each other. Oh goddamn! The Tony Soprano should be washing the shampoo out of Johnny Sack's hair.
Tony Soprano, tear this shit wall down.
Although it could be though, you like there was a deleted scene of this where Jane leaves and you go over and see Yoshido's just sitting in the. You got to take care of the whole conversation.
Oh God,
your shit's
I love how this has just become a toilet conversation based on this. But again, like as we talked about briefly last minute, this looks like a bathroom.
I think I'm 100% certain, even if it's not supposed to be a bathroom, that's where they had to shoot because like. They had no budget. And it's just like the acoustic sounds like a bathroom. That weird kind of tile marble wall looks like a bathroom. It has very 80s business offices bathroom vibe to it,
I think that's what it is. The 80s was just excessive and absurd and ridiculous. So, of course, he's going to have the most, nonsense office.
No. But they were talking about big business.
Big business, as the internet says, for it's a Russian joke.
But I remember that thing a couple of months ago where they had that meme that was really hot for a minute about pretending that Martin Scorsese had that Russian movie out.
Goncharov. Yeah. I love Goncharov.
And that was a whole thing for like 2 weeks. And now that's just vanished from the internet again. It's just,
but I like that though, because if you drag it out, it's not funny anymore.
I'm sure it'll come back eventually. Someone will bring up like. They'll bring a T-shirt out or something, or like there'll be some. It will live again, but you just have to wait for. We're still currently, as of recording, in the midst of the the mushroom cloud of Barbenheimer has yet to settle.
Yeah.
So that's still ruling the meme waves.
Hopefully it never settles.
It's going to be one of those things. Just like, this time next year, you're going to be like, remember all the Barbie memes? Those are good times, But,
they were enough.
Yeah. Oh, that was like the added layer to it now. Although I started to get very cynical, where I was like, I loved Barbie as a movie, but like I did always have the eyebrow arched in terms of like, well, Mattel, they ain't idiots. Like, they are still selling things to you. And then afterwards they'll be like, you can now buy the I Am Knuff hoodie. And like, uh-huh. And then they're like, look, we've made a replica weird Barbie, a la, Katie What's-Her-Face's character. And I was like, uh-huh. Yeah, what's that cost? Like $75? Yeah,
probably. It'll be a collector's price, won't it? It's not going to be like 20.
It's kind of like, well, that's kind of half the charm of Weird Barbie, was that you could make one yourself. It's just like, it's whatever you did to your Barbie back in the day. Whatever you did to mutilate it and disfigure it and stuff. Well, that was it. But now to come out with one, like, here's a replica of this one that we had in the movie that we were advertising to you the whole time. You're like, okay.
Well, I agree with you, but at the same time, I think, targeting it to collectors is fine. Because it's like, well, this is the one from the movie. And it's not saying kids can't still make their own weird Barbie. It's just, this is the movie one. But you can go and make your own one.
Yeah. I think it's
at the same time, kids always want the movie one.
I think it's more because it's... when the film was first announced, it had this whole thing of like, well, it's just going to be like a cynical kind of like, it's just a way to sell stuff to you. That's what it's going to be. And then when it came out, it's like, no, it's actually got like more artistic merit than that. And then the back end is like, oh no, but it is totally designed just to sell stuff to you. And you're just kind of like, because people keep going like, oh, Mattel keep making fun of themselves in the movie. And they're like pointing out how, but they're like, do they really make themselves look that bad? Like,
no,
not that bad. Plus, they're making fun of themselves, but they are making Barbie seem tip top. So you'll still go out and buy Barbie products because you love Barbie. It doesn't matter about Mattel. You can hate Mattel all you want and make fun of them and stuff, but you still love Barbie, so you still buy that product, which means Mattel's still getting the money. So they don't care what you say about them as long as you still like the product. So it's like, it's all very like, there's a bit of tactical, tactical self-fire going on there as well. I was like, I think now as time goes by, I'm like, it's a great movie, but I'm too jaded to be just like, it was unabashed great socialist masterpiece or anything. So
hey, well, Star Wars was made to sell toys.
Yeah, everything was
not made to sell toys. That's a lie, but it was baked in.
Yeah, I mean, the other show freaking talking about Batman, like the most merchandised character of all time. So.
Exactly. So I assume all movies are trying to sell me something on the side as well.
Yeah.
Except for Miami Connection, because there was nothing to really sell there.
Yeah, but they could have had though. They could have had Laser Blade Cycle Jeff. And all the tie-in toys that they could have done, But
well, that has to happen.
You have Jane with a little computer, and she's like little circles that she can throw. They're kind of like boomerangs or something. That she chucks them at people.
This is the thing. They can't just be realistic action figures. They have to be that genre of action figures. I think we talked about this once before, where when they've ran out of ideas, but they need to keep churning out toys. So it would be like, this Terminator has a giant bazooka water gun. And you're like, okay, cool.
This Michelangelo is dressed up as a chef.
Yeah.
And
why? Don't know.
And here's Donatello as an artist, because they're artists, right? And you're like, this is 1995, man. The Turtles train ran a long time ago.
That's what I want for Miami Connection. I want Light Cycle Jeff. That'd be amazing. Right. Here's Mark if he went into space. Great.
Oh, you get the Dragon Sound space set. Like a little stage that you put on the moon and stuff.
First gig on the moon, Dragon Sound.
The thing is, like, all the people with Dragon Sound, you'd have to, like, it'd be one of those things where they have a chunk of a thing in each packet. So you get, John, and he's got, like, his folder and, friggin' a guitar and, his slicker that you can take on and off and stuff like that. But also he's got like the tail of a dragon. And then you buy all the other guys, and then when you get them together, they turn it's a big dragon, but you put them on top, and that's like the stage.
Oh, so, hell yeah.
Yeah, and they all, of course, all their accessories are all the instruments, but like maybe an additional thing. Like Mark would have to have some sort of weird toe action. You'd have to like expand his feet out, I guess, but
it can grab the other figures' noses.
Yeah, that'll be the thing. Yeah, you have to be able to do... Or maybe then no, your standard mark figure can't do that. But like the special one, you can get... Then you can get Taekwondo mark.
Now with added Kung Fu grip.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't me using the wrong martial art, people. That's the thing. Kung Fu grip. It was, wasn't it G.I. Joe or something?
Yeah. Release me from your Kung Fu grip.
Yeah.
Although, again, I think we were talking, actually, speaking of Barbie and stuff, last week where we were mentioning about, like, they should have a thing where Ken goes off and, like, goes out and meets G.I. Joe and stuff like that. And, like, the guy playing Jeff... That's your ideal casting for G.I. Joe. Like he looks like the old G.I. Joe toy I used to have with that dense, thick beard and that head of hair and stuff.
They missed a trick in the 80s not churning out a movie with him. I'm telling you, okay, might not be the best actor ever, but look at him.
Well, here's the debate, like, because trying to judge the performances in this minute is a bit hard because I think, like, they're both passable, but they're on different energies. Like, Jane is treating this as if this is like a high school problem where she's, coming in and just like, oh, you are terrible. And like, oh, you really embarrassed me.
He's been a bit of a jerk.
Yeah, this is real. Like, your little brother came in and showed you up in front of your friends and you're just like, oh, you really embarrassed me today. And Jeff's very much like, I am going to fucking kill these guys. You don't, this isn't a little problem. I am going to like stomp their heads into the ground. Like... And like, I am telling you, she's going like, oh, I mean, stop telling me to not see my friends, okay? He's like, I'm telling you to not see your friends or I will kill you as well. Like,
I will kill everyone.
He's like, he's given the appropriate level of like, we're in the middle of a Kung Fu movie here. I'm a ninja. These guys are my enemies. This is gonna end in violence. And Jane's just way too much like she's in Grease 3 or something.
Yes.
Like, it's very... And I don't know who to blame for that, because that could just be the note that she was given. Maybe she didn't read the rest of the script. They might have just given her pages, and she's like, I guess I'm always on the set of a college. I guess it's just like a college romance thing or something. Like, what is this?
I would say the blame lies with whoever directed this scene out of the two directors, because that's up to the director to do, right? Is to get them on the same kind of wavelength, the same tone.
Yeah.
To make it make sense. Now, I would assume then that this is one of YK Kim's scenes, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, but obviously inexperienced, he might not really know what to look for or how to explain it.
Yeah. I feel like there should be an escalation in this scene, because there's no real need for it otherwise. Like, it's just her going in. They kind of talk around the same point over and over for like 2 minutes. And then it's just her. It just goes back to the status quo. She's like, "Well, I told him to leave you alone. We know he's not going to." But there should have been a thing like she goes in. Maybe she goes in with the energy like, "Oh, just leave him alone with you." And then she sees it. He's like, "No, I'm gonna fucking rip this guy's throat out and shove it up his ass, and then I'm gonna rip his lips off, and you can pin them to your wall if you want to be with him." And like, she should be like, "Holy Christ, my brother is a nut job." And then maybe it's like she tries to leave, and he's like, "No, you're not leaving. Now I'm keeping you here. You're going to be the prisoner of Jeff's gym or whatever." Because then that's an escalation in the plot of terms of like, well, now we're getting somewhere. We see we already know that he's bad news, but then it's like, well, he's threatening to outright kill these guys now. And also he's taken Jane off the table, so they need to try to get her out, or she needs to get herself out. Or something has happened, to give us a reason here. But this scene is just like, we already know that she likes John and Jeff doesn't like John. And at the end of this minute, we just have, go home. All right, I will go home. But you leave him alone. Like, it's just back to like, what the hell is this? What's the point of the scene?
Maybe it's just me, but I thought with the delivery, the costuming, the lighting, everything about this scene, I thought it almost came across like they're setting up, in wrestling terms, a Jane heel turn. Like she's been a villain all along and has kind of been undercover. And it's like she's going, you're going to blow my cover kind of thing.
Well, there you go. That would be a better twist as well. That'll be a better story.
Wouldn't that be interesting? I'm not saying I would necessarily want that, but wouldn't that be fascinating? Because take this in isolation and just watch this on its own. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like she's going, you're going to fuck this up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're looking at her delivery beyond the high schoolness of it. there is a kind of vibe of like, yeah, she could reveal now that like, yeah, this has been a ploy the whole time to harvest dragon sound for their essence or something, whatever else.
Taking them down from within.
Yeah, like she already hated. Like she was like Dexy's other singer or something. You'll find out. Like,
yeah.
That would be amazing. It turned out that like Dexy's the entire time he was actually the underling to the Jane.
She's the big boss the whole time. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
She reveals herself in the final scene.
Dexy's reappears, and then they're like, "I'm bringing out special guest, our original singer Jane."
What? Oh my god!
And trying to the Battle of Bands, Dragon Sound can't even play because they're so devastated that they've been betrayed.
It's a plan to crush them. We'll be the only band around here.
And John been like, "Jane, I loved you," and then she just like writes an on the spot diss track.
See, that would actually be quite interesting. Let's at least write an alternate universe version.
I don't know.
That's yet another book we're gonna write there.
I don't know how this made me remember. I don't know, you were there at the time. We went to see our friend Ricky Wiley, who's a rapper. He was doing a rap battle with a guy.
Oh, I didn't see the rap battle. Yeah, I've seen his gigs. I haven't seen any battles.
And it was the real highlight of it was just that he was up against some kid, like, because Ricky's like, he's older than us, and this is still like 10, 12 years ago, but he was still like 30 odd at the time.
Yeah,
and this kid was like a teenager. Ricky had on like a little blue beaded necklace kind of thing, and the guy he came in and his diss ended with him saying, "At least I'm not wearing blue bleeds." And he obviously messed up saying blue bleeds, but it meant blue beads. And he kind of went off, and everyone, the audience are kind of, you can see that there was people that clocked it and stuff. Ricky comes out, does his whole thing, laying into him. And then the guy comes back, and you're like, what's he, you could save face and try to, like, you could try to be like, well, forget about that. People move on from it.
Oh, no, he didn't reference it, did he?
His whole next verse was just him clarifying that he meant blue beads, and that people should just disregard the blue bleeds comment, because he didn't mean to say that. It was just the speed of the rapping,
Oh my god, that's amazing. Like, please let me just explain.
That was exactly that. This was like, I should clarify for everybody here that I meant blue beads. And it was just that scene, because the Ricky's kind of humor, he was just standing pissing himself laughing, just like, it was like, well, I think I've won just by the fact that you've come back with this.
Doesn't matter how good the rest of your rhymes are, you've lost right there.
But that'd be amazing. The twist is that like she's like Grandmaster Jane.
Yeah, she's in charge of the whole operation, not just the Jeff's group.
But she's like Grandmaster Flash, not like Grandmaster Kim. So she comes out with like a rap track. And because it's so, it's 87, that's so modern and hip that it just blows Dragon Sound off the stage.
Oh, and they don't know how to respond.
Yeah, it's like, again, I like that Scott Pilgrim scene with the big freaking, the big dragons coming out of the thing, blowing the sex bomb away. It should be like, that was Jane's ace the whole time. She was secretly a rapper, and you find out that she's got like a cool rapper boyfriend and stuff as well.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, again, this is all stuff for the novelization. But then the Miami Connection purists might be like, you can't just change Jane into a villain. Come on.
That's why it's got to be an alternate universe story, I think. We're going to establish a Miami AU. Yeah.
Oh, and then there'll be one where, like, the dimension hop. And, like, proper sexy... It's like sexy rapper Jane from the other world comes in.
They body swap.
Yeah. Or she, like, abducts and takes the place of the real Jane. And, like, at one point you see her on a computer drawing a square or something. A triangle.
I'm really into squares.
But yeah, I mean, there's all people might be able to tell there's not much to talk about in this minute.
Well, you've briefly brought up one of the lines. Why don't you just leave Dragon Sound alone? Which,
leave
I mean, on one hand,
Dragon Sound
alone. Bloody good question. Why doesn't he just leave them alone? Why does it matter? Stop. But also, as you've hinted at, the delivery, it doesn't seem very serious to her.
No.
It's very much just, come on, leave them alone.
Also, too, like,
you're being a jerk, man.
Leave Dragon Sound alone. Leave my band alone. She's one of the singers of Dragon Sound. So she should be like, this is my thing, man. You're ruining Like, I'm getting on great with this band. This is my creative outlet. Like, people love that Ninja song I was singing the other day. Like, what the hell are you doing? But, yeah.
Oh, also, though, mention of Dragon Sound. Take a drink.
Of course. I did notice there that Jeff is very firmly tucked in to his trousers, though, that shirt. So, no, not even a chance of a shirtless appearance.
I like a nice tuck. But I also, I don't know, maybe because I'm getting a bit older, I get a bit self-conscious when I do it.
Really?
Like there's a bit of gut. You know? Put a bit of weight on.
I think that might be might have been why the popularization of the untucked shirt came into the fold, because like, what's the easy way to hide that kind of thing, you know? But
as people got a bit bigger, not that there's anything, I was going to say not that there's anything wrong with that, but then again, I'm saying how I don't want to look that way. So I guess there is in my head some. Oh, geez, it's a complicated one. Isn't it?
I remember that our friend Howard Story. People obviously who wouldn't know him listen to the show. Very dapper gentleman, proper old school guy. Like wears a
cool looks. Yeah.
Great looking. Well, great looking. And he's a very handsome man, but also fantastic dresser. Bowler hats and real pinstripe fitted suits and that kind of thing. And I remember one time I was out in like waistcoat and tie and stuff like that, and I always remember him telling me that classically you're supposed to have the bottom button to your waistcoat undone.
Yes, that's true.
Apparently, I think was it Henry VIII or it was a king anyway.
Wasn't it a king who was a bit larger?
Well, they're Henry VIII again, potentially they're right there.
I think it might be after him, but don't quote me on that.
But apparently, the whole thing was that because obviously the royalty, they must be satisfied and they must be sort of adhered to. He was gaining weight, and so to alleviate this, the strain on the waistcoat, he unbuttoned his bottom button. But then everyone started going like, it's because he's fat. Like, look what's going on here? So the court made it a rule that no, this is just this is the fashion statement, is that you're supposed to have.
Makes him feel better if everyone's doing it.
Yeah, everyone's doing it because this is the cool thing to do now. Everyone's doing it. So yeah, I don't know. I just popped in my head there as a thing. But every time now when I'm wearing a waistcoat, I'm always like, should I leave the bottom undone? Or should I go screw you to the monarchy? Because,
Oh, that's a good point. I have been, since I found out, I've always left it undone. But now I like that. It's screw you to the monarchy.
Yeah.
And to conservatism.
The thing is, though, sometimes when you're out and you end up, like, if you go to a dinner or something, or if you're just drinking a lot, you end up feeling a bit bloated. And then, then you know why that the bottom button being undone comes in so handy. But
well, the monarchy knows a thing or two about being gluttonous.
Well, Jeff's also doing a thing I used to do all the time, in that he's got he's not got the Cantona collar that we used to frequently talk about in Batman, because Chris O'Donnell's Robin had the Cantona collar going on. But he's done the thing of, like, he's taken his collar from his shirt and placed it over the lapels of his jacket, which I used to do all the time. I used to do that constantly, and I always remember people sort of been like making me feel a bit weird about it, because I was like, I want to show the collar's cool looking, I want to show it off and stuff. But
okay, it's definitely been a trend at various points. So it's not like you did something utterly outrageous there. I mean, the 70s, there's a lot of shirts with big collars that are designed to sort of poke out that way.
Oh yeah, I used to, I think back in the early 2000s there was a brief revival of it, because I remember having shirt collars that were like insane lengths that would put over the tips of your shoulders. Something like that. That's not an exaggeration, like seriously. Like, but that was during a brief period I remember where they had shirts that were manufactured to look crumpled.
Yes. Oh God, they annoyed me.
I had one, and it was annoying because I really loved the design of it, in that I loved the pattern. But after like 2 weeks, I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, what's like? I kind of wish I could iron this, because it's annoying.
Iron it out, all the creases.
But I remember that one having a huge collar as well. But then you couldn't even iron the collar. The collar was all curled up and stuff. It was a bit like, I guess, the fashion industry is like, we gotta think of something new. Like, what are we gonna do? Monk haircut? Make people shave the top of their heads and then leave the hair around the sides? Like, what?
Why not? Let's do it. Let's bring. I can do that now. That's about the only hair I can grow.
I was thinking sometimes too, I've always been tempted to try. It's like, I think I could do a mohawk, because technically the hair in that strip is actually all right. But I think if I did it, then I'd probably discover like, no, it's it's because I've not grown it out in so long the fear is that it's going to be like the damage is much worse than the last time you saw it.
Just do it. Just try it. You don't have to show anyone. Because, you wear a hat a lot of the time. No one will see.
Yeah. I had to show up one time with this whip off the hat and this glorious mane cascading down, but it's all in a mohawk. It's one of those mohawks that goes up and then flips down to like my shoulder or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Do it.
Yeah. But no, so I'm saying, Jeff here, collar tricks. Like, I felt seen. But I was like, yeah, I used to think that was cool as well. But
Jeff's repping. Nice one, Jeff. Although something that isn't nice is what he says next. Don't concern yourself with what I'm doing. You concentrate on school and nothing else. Because that is controlling as fuck. Yeah. But I guess if you want to be sort of devil's advocate, you could say it shows that his heart's in the right place, maybe. A little bit. But having said that, what he's doing is literally affecting people directly connected to her at school. So how can she concentrate exactly, dude?
I don't know what to do. Like his whole thing about like you gotta do well at school. It's like, is he depending on her to like, oh, I can retire once you get your computer circle making job? Like if you go off and become a successful computer programmer, then I can finally pack in this life. Like I can finally give it all up. But then if you go off and try to chase some dream with dragon sound, like this is gonna be a nightmare for me. But
that's a tough one though, because he is working hard for her, so maybe he does expect a little something in return. He shouldn't.
Well, again, too, we don't know the setting of the time of the story, because it could be like if this is, Jane's 3rd or 4th year, and it's in like the last couple of months. It might be like, yeah, you do need this. Like, this is the time. You gotta settle down and freaking concentrate on, because otherwise it's all for nothing,
But again, he's the one helping her be distracted, really. I know he's blaming it on the band, but if he wasn't fucking with the band, she wouldn't be that distracted anyway. She's only got a gig every now and then.
Yeah, but then she's spending, presumably, most nights with John, canoodling, so.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and plus the Dragon Sound are like the house band, so they could be called up like a couple times a week to do stuff, but Yeah. So, but then she.
Well, someone who never really studied, I don't know how much it's. I did get a degree, but that was later in life. That's a bit different.
You never studied. There's a little Ghostbusters reference there for people.
Now, he says, "Well, there's an exchange. I'll take care of all the other things. No, you won't. I'll take care of myself. I'm old enough to do that now." Which made me think of, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, where she's like, in 6 months' time, I'll be a woman. And she's clearly about 35.
Yeah. She's a fully qualified doctor. Well, that's the thing, too. Again, maybe the energy is, like, that's how the actress was reading this, because she's, like, she's talking like she's a high schooler, so maybe that's what... Not realizing, no, she's supposed to be like like an adult. She's supposed to be in university. But
it's very high school, very.
Yeah, but she's like, well, saying things like, I'm old enough to do that now implies that she's like 15 going on 16 or something. Yeah. So maybe that's how I should be playing this. And then Jeff does not lower his tone to meet that, unfortunately.
But I do like how forceful she is, though. That's quite good, with her brother. If I want to see John, I will. Because I bet nobody talks to him like this. And I didn't expect Jane to do it either.
Yeah. Well, I think for all his scariness, like, she really is not in any way concerned about Jeff. Like, although to be fair, he is very affectionate to her in terms of he's done all this stuff, so she is supposed to be the softer side to him, I guess. But it doesn't have that kind of the one example I always bring up because it was done so well, I guess. Well, actually, 2 examples in the same. It's the same kind of thing. Basically, was Red Foreman and Eric in that '70s show, where Red Foreman was a complete asshole and a very abusive father. But let's say very abusive. He was very, very stern, and you got that in his son's relationship to him, where you could see he would give little quips now and again, but he was still very like, don't push him. Because he can blow up on you and has done in the past and stuff. And then, like, the Wonder Years, the same thing. The old friggin' Fred Savage Wonder Years.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Remember, his dad and that was terrifying. Because it was always he had that old thankfully my dad was never like that, but that hard-ass dad energy of like, don't you mess with me, kid, because I'll put this paper down and put my boot right up your ass kind of thing.
Oh, my dad, I always joked, like, as soon as I saw that 70s show, I was like, Dad, it's you.
Yeah?
My dad is Red Foreman. And he was always threatening to put his foot up my ass.
Oh. Did he call anyone a dumbass? Or?
Yeah, me.
Or was it dumb ass? I guess it would have to be for the English equivalent of it.
No, he'd say dumbass.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But Americanized.
He's lived in America and everything.
So you see that 70s show? Like, what the hell? It is me. I got to get on the phone to these people.
They've copied him.
Right
the only difference is I don't think Red was in the Navy.
Well, I think Red might have been in the Navy. I think he was an Army guy.
Maybe Army. That's the twist. They changed it slightly so they didn't get sued.
I'm pretty sure that was one of those part of his. I mean, like, I'm not all that up in that 70s show lore, but I'm pretty sure he was an Army guy at some point. Because all American dads in the shows set in that era or thereafter are kind of like. I think it's only in recent times you'll get like dads who are just like, yeah, I was just a guy. I grew up and I did this. Every other era is always like, yeah, my dad was in the Marines for a bit or whatever, and now he's
a Nam. Well, I suppose there was non-stop war for most of the past, fucking years.
Yeah. And they always come back, and then those dads are always kind of assholes. But now I think, like, would you have a generation of, my dad he served in Iraq or something.
Yeah.
But then all the people in Iraq are just like, all those veterans are kind of portrayed as being like they know they didn't want to be there and stuff, and they're all come back traumatized and stuff. So
well, that's the same as Nam.
No, that's true. But I think though some like ex-Nam dads are still maybe because they're bitter about the way we came back and they spat on us and all that business. Although apparently that's also a fallacy as well. But
they weren't treated very well by the government, at least.
I think that was the thing. That whole idea was like the public turned on them. Was a thing drummed up by the administration to kind of to hide the fact that they were just the ones mistreating them and stuff. But,
that sounds about right.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
So Jeff was in Nam.
That wouldn't be surprising.
I suppose he could have been, actually.
Yeah, he's in the fatigues all the time. Hey, John, in his mind, he's still there.
Oh my God, he's basically Rambo.
Yeah.
That's why he's being so over the top. That's why he's going overboard. Because Nam has made him that way, like Rambo. There's a shootout at the end. So
he just came into Florida, and then some guy kept telling him to get a beard cut. And look what happened! God damn it!
We don't want you hippies around here. And Jeff wasn't willing to cut it.
I thought that would have been the natural life cycle of John Rambo had he, like, Brian Dennehy and stuff not trying to get involved. He would have eventually opened up a biker gang, trained them to be ninjas, kinda, and then taken over a gym in South Central Florida.
That's really why he wanted Rambo to move on. He wasn't being a jerk. He was trying to protect the village. Village? It's America. They don't have villages. Town. You call that a village here because it's so small.
As you may well know, though, John, because I think one year I gifted you the book of First Blood.
Yes.
And the big drastic change of the book being that Teasel, Brian Dennehy's character, is very much just like a guy. Like, I know it's not personal to this guy. I just know that if he's around, things are going to kick off. And so it's nothing personal. I just want him out of my town.
But you could argue that by him doing that, he is making it kick off.
Yeah. But he has a more sympathetic bent to him than just like, I don't like you long-haired assholes in my town. Get the hell out. It's more of a, look, I feel for you, buddy, but like I've got to protect the people here too. So, and if you come in, it's going to cause a whole storm. So you gotta keep on moving, you know. But
it's a bit more conflicting on everyone as well. I mean, Rambo kills some dogs.
Yeah.
Which it makes no wonder it's not in the movie, because if you saw him do that, you'd be like, oh, I don't really like him.
You just be, would have just lost literally everybody. But they think, the people who haven't read First Blood, it's actually a very good book. But it's like literally one chapter will be told from Dennehy's point of view, and then the next chapter from Rambo, and back and forth and stuff.
I do love that. That could work in a movie. I don't know why they changed it. I'm not saying they should have done it that way, but they could have.
Yeah, when they made the movie, it was just very much like, we're 100% taking this guy's side. He's the hero, and we have to amp up the prejudice of Brian Dennehy to make him more of a dick. So, but then anywho, we keep going off wildly off topic.
It's all connected. These things, it's all connected. And Jane then says, besides that, I love him. Which, it sounds almost like this has come up before. You know, because he doesn't seem too shocked to hear these words. It's like she's reminding him, like, remember, for fuck's sake, I love him.
It feels like pretty much every conversation they must have probably is this conversation. It's like, it's 6, so that's when Jane marches in to tell me to just leave Dragon's-Son alone, and I love him, and
on loop. Yeah. And then he comes out with his classic, we're family, you and I.
Yeah. Now listen to me. Now listen. Oh. Now listen to me. Now listen.
Actually, I've just thought of something. I haven't got this written down, but we're family, you and I. Serious family drama going on.
There you go.
Right. But yeah, so after that, he's playing the blood card. Weak.
The blood card.
Weak. Like, you listeners, this is a lesson as well. You do not owe people anything simply because they are your relative.
Oh, totally.
Like, okay, he's looking after her financially, but crucially, he isn't respecting her. One good deed doesn't cancel out the bad. You know, family can do one nice thing for you and then hold it against you. You know, like, oh well, I did this for you like 6 months ago. It's like no.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I provided for you as as we were growing up, as you should do, and then that doesn't mean that person is now yours to carve into whatever you want. Like,
exactly. If you have a kid, you're creating a life. You're not creating something to mold as such. You can guide. You're not molding it.
Yeah. Although, I guess to be fair, though, she is doing her own thing, and he is just there. I'm just strongly suggesting that you don't
strongly suggesting by beating the shit out of people. Yeah, that's
about as strongly as I can suggest.
Found family is just as important, and sometimes more so, I would say, because I actually think that's an important part of this film as well. And I think a queer reading of this is not only possible, but I would say encouraged.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a found family message anyway, just in everything about Dragon's-Son. It's like, they're orphans, but they're closer than most families you'll ever see, because they just literally...
Exactly.
Like, they seem like the type of guys who would shower together and, shit with the door lying open and stuff.
Slap each other with a towel.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel there would be a scene as well, though. They did film that, but like, just like, that bathroom door just lying open all the. Oh my god, that's why they need Jane there. They need a feminine influence on this, sausage fest at the Dragon's-Son. The Dragon's-Son dojo is just like, someone's got to come in here and just freaking keep this place together, because.
They need someone to tidy up. No.
But just someone that's, maybe
gender roles.
Tell them to wash their face after freaking putting their toes around people's nose. It's just like, God knows what you're passing on that way. But
yeah, to be fair, I think she is the most sort of sensible character. So they, not that she should have the burden of looking after all these guys, but thank God she's there.
I was wondering if that was ever like a Korean army. Combat method was to like dip your toe in like anthrax or something.
Oh, and then
rub it in people's faces. I was like, well, there you go. So you don't want to touch it with your hands, do you? Because it's going to freaking kill you. But like, oh no, if you dip it on your toe, it's still far enough away from your face that you'll be okay. And then just put your boot back on, and presumably it might melt your boot after a while, but
it's okay.
At least it's contained.
Just take the dead guy's boot.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure to only kill people with the same feet.
Yeah, or maybe slightly bigger, because then you can double up the socks or something and kind of make it work.
But sometimes when you go a bit bigger, they get a little bit wider as well, which I don't think is a thing in America. I've heard of people picking the width of their shoes in America, which is odd to me. But I don't know if it's just because wrestlers have big feet, but they always mention on that, like size, I don't know, 20. I'm just going to make up a thing here, 20D, and you're like, what? Apparently that's the width. Yeah, okay.
No, I've never come across that. Yeah.
Just very peculiar. Maybe that's a specialist thing.
Yeah.
But he does as well. Oh God, this is a burn. There's no need for what he says here. Oof. He says, I don't want you to mess it up by going out with a second-rate musician like that John character. There's a little pause there. But, that's nasty, isn't it? Second-rate music. Well, he's very bitchy.
Yeah.
Like, get your handbags out, claws. Ooh.
To be fair, though, we know he's at least imbibed on Dragon Sound. We've seen him. They mentioned like that they're there every night, aren't they? Like when they go, Jeff and his posse are always hanging around.
Yeah.
So at least he's not like criticizing something that he's not seen. He's like, I've seen Dragon Sound, and I have to tell you, I found their sound a little wanting. That's
the thing. He's not saying he's absolutely awful. He's second rate.
He's second rate. It's like if you were dating like John Bon Jovi, you're like then would be dark. But or maybe he's just like, you were dating Angelo. Like, Angelo from the band. No, Angelo Badalamenti, the acclaimed composer. No. John from Dragon Sound. Like, come on, that guy's a hack. What are you doing? All those licks are ripped from Van Halen. What are you doing over here?
Oh, he's a fraudster. He's copying everything.
It would be great too if he's just like, Jane, I've listened to Friends and Against the Ninja multiple times. It's the same song. All they've done is the same damn song over and over and over again. It's like, but I wrote Against the Ninja. You might have written the lyrics, but that guy over there, he wrote the music, and he's just wrote the same damn song twice. They're hacksters. They're frauds. They're second rate.
Jeff played by our house band, house musician Ash. He's a band. He's a one-man band.
It could be, though, maybe that we don't realize it, because Jeff's gym obviously wouldn't make much money, because all his patrons are his gang. Maybe his real passion and his real way he makes he makes money is that he's a YouTube music critic. Like
what's that guy?
Anthony
glasses.
Fandango, I want to call him.
Fantonio.
Oh.
That's it. Something like that, isn't it? I don't really know his stuff, but I've seen him. I see him everywhere.
I know that he's the most popular YouTube critic and every time you look up a musician, you usually see his face doing a thumbnail thing of like next to an album cover going good or
that's the thing. Those pictures immediately made me think, this guy's a fucking prick. I was like, is this whole thing going to be really critical? But then when I haven't watched the videos, but I've read people referencing his reviews, it doesn't seem that way at all. So let me just tell you, if you're listening, Anthony, your clips aren't your thumbnails aren't doing you any favors. They're making you look stupid.
No, I think that's the way of the thumbnail, though, is that even if he puts up a thing looking like he's going to be critical, some people will go like, what's he going to say against it, and click on it, and then his review might actually be very fair and it even balances stuff, but he got you to click, or you might have, if he just came on going like, yeah, it's good, people will be like, well, I know it's good, so I don't need to hear any more about this.
I get that, but then I, as a viewer, I'm angry that I clicked it. Because of that, even if I agree with his outcome, I'm angry, so I'm not going to click again.
Nah, that might be, but then he might, by you listening to that one review, you're like, well, he was pretty insightful. So then, if you can get past your initial anger and disgust at what he's done,
it takes me years to get past that.
You might go back now later tonight for your second Anthony Mask of the Phantasmio, whatever his name is. But that'd be great if Jeff has he's like a ring light over there and his little setup of like, all right guys, so I'm here today to review the new album by Cinderella, and these guys are the most promising metal band out of San Diego I've heard in years, let me tell you.
But first, a word from our sponsor. World of Tanks. That seems to be one lately on YouTube. I don't know why. Well, it's an ancient game. I don't know why it's still advertised.
There's that one too. It was not World of Warcraft, but there's the other one.
Oh God, I've got loads of these games.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's the same exact principle as World of Warcraft, but it's like another.
Is it like a dead old one?
No, I think it probably is really old, but they're releasing like new updates to it and all that kind of stuff. So like it'll be like there's one like Shadow Legends and stuff like that.
Oh
so
yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
like Assassins, Shadow Legends, and all this.
Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends. It's a mobile RPG. Yeah.
They'll always then hit the people you respect as well. You're like, at least if you stick in an automated advert, fair enough. I get it. But then when you get like your actual YouTubers, the people you respect, and they go like, well, I'm just here to talk to you today about Blue Apron or whatever, and they do a little thing that you're like, I can't even skip this. I have to now work out how far forward to skip the video because this is baked into the product. This is terrible.
It is frustrating.
But, and some of them too are doing like Raid Shadow Legends. It's like, I know that you don't play this. There's no way that you play this. What the hell are you doing?
I don't mind it when it's at least relevant to, to the content. Like I watch a lot of history ones, and often they will be relevant. They'll have advertisements for like streaming services. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a bit like a YouTube cross with a Patreon. Where creators can upload to it and they get a bigger cut. Things like this. They'll advertise that, or they'll advertise a VPN, because then obviously you can access more video content, or at least a war-themed game. And you're like, okay, yeah, this is a history thing about World War II, and you're advertising me a tank game. Okay, that kind of makes sense at least.
Yeah. Jeff then getting in here to like, well, you can get more of my premium content on Mubi.
Jeff's a movie guy. Okay.
It's my review of The Seventh Seal, available right now this month. And then I have an ongoing series about the history of pornography in Swedish cinema.
I think he'd be a Kurosawa fan as well.
Oh, totally. That's what him and Yoshido bond over. He's like, oh, we go around. You can watch Yojimbo at my house. Jeff's like, I already got a copy, man. I'm all right.
Plus, he's a bit pretentious. He's like, actually, I prefer the sequel. Sanjuro.
Well, then you find out Yoshido is actually a big fan of like Sergio Leone, and Jeff's like, oh my god, I can't believe I ever hung out with this guy. Leone. Second-rate Kurosawa ripoff is what he is. I'll tell you that.
And that starts the first schism between the two.
Yeah.
There's a war, an infight.
But yeah, so I really do want to know, though. Like, to be fair, he's saying a second-rate musician like John. Very careful, though, because if he said a second-rate band like Dragon Sound, that would be like, Jane, I have to tell you, the band you're in suck. Like, you suck as well when you're in them. But he's very careful to be like, okay, I'm not going to insult you outright, but I'm going to say your rhythm section could use a boost, quite frankly.
Well, I think he's being careful in general because that pause where he says, by going out with a second-rate musician. To me, that pause made it seem like Jeff isn't sure if he should say it, if he should go there. But he does go there.
Or maybe he's just rating him in his mind. He's just like, I'm going out with a... it's a bit better than third rate, I suppose.
Second.
Second. He's definitely not first rate. Oh my god.
He's a strong B.
B minus, maybe. Depends on. I've seen him a couple of times. His Wednesday night slots are pretty bad. I gotta be honest with you.
And I don't like that new jazz side project he's doing. He's starting to rock a bit harder lately. I mean, he's improving, but still, he's not where I want him to be. So.
He just goes over there and puts on some Charles Mingus on vinyl. It's like, well, the reason I set up the office in the bathroom is because the acoustics in here are much better, Jane.
Oh, exactly.
That's why he went over to the merch table, bought the Dragon Sound EP, and he sits there listening, going like, "No, man, it's just like I've really got into this now, and the sound's just not cutting it, quite frankly." But
he decides to become their producer. That's what this is all about. I want to be your producer. No. Well, I want to be your shit.
Well, the thing is, too, because he hadn't even heard of Dexies when they came in.
Yeah.
So, like, Christ knows what he'd make of them. It's like, well, you guys couldn't even friggin' hold off Dragon Sound. So, like, the player's like, no, people just don't understand what we're going for, man. We're avant-garde.
Oh, but then you get Jeff basically just straight up forbidding her from seeing John, which is crazy. And I guess doing that will end her dreams of pop rock stardom, I guess.
Yeah. Or, you never know. Maybe he's like, you just need to have a good degree base, okay? Get your qualifications. And then get rid of that second-rate musician. Get yourself a solo act going.
Oh, it's like Wayne's World 2.
Yeah. And then he's like, you can be a star. Well, I just want to make sure that you've got good foundations, or you've got a good, fallback plan, because if you go for this and it doesn't work out, you're going to regret not finishing that degree. But if you have that already, you're young, you have all the time in the world to do this.
Now that makes him sound sensible, because that is actually a good idea. But that's not, he just straight up is like, you're not seeing him. He thinks he's fucking Jonah Hill. He's going to ban her from surfing.
if I go out there and see you rocking out with any rockers, let me tell you.
Any male rockers?
If you feel the need, you have to take photos on stage with other people who play on stage. I'm going to have a problem with that.
Oh my God, he's Jonah. Holy shit. Jonah Hill is never going to recover from this.
No, I'm so thankful too that he, I think I just don't like Jonah Hill in general. But I remember when they were making The Batman, the big thing was he was offered both the role of the Penguin and the Riddler. And he turned them both down because he thought he was like too big for it.
Come on.
And it's just like, well, thank God, because one, Paul Dano, fantastic. Two, Colin Farrell, fantastic. Yeah. But also now it's just like we've always been spared on Batman having any real controversial figures who have to talk about. Like with everyone in there, even the people you think would turn out to be troublesome, like Jack Nicholson, for example.
I mean, we did briefly have R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, that was the worst one. And even like Arnie's like, oh, he's been accused of this, that, and the other. No. Apparently he's playful, but he's not a bad guy, except for cheating on his wife and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, okay, that's bad, but it's not like it doesn't make him an absolutely deplorable criminal human being.
I was weirded out. I saw a thing the other day. I guess it's just some people just take things so completely differently. Where as a person I watch who does like box office reports every week to kind of show you like what's doing what money and if that's good compared to the budget, and then the business side of Hollywood. And they're going on about like, oh, Netflix, Arnie's doing amazing on Netflix apparently. That's why that documentary did big. That True Lies ripoff show that he did, we call it Fubar or whatever his name is.
I still haven't watched any of that.
I think I watched the first episode and was just, nah, this is not there. It's True Lies. It's the same exact plot. But they're saying, Arnie is now in the Netflix business because those two shows are doing amazing. But then this person was just like, it's astounding to me that a man who cheated on his wife and impregnated an employee within his own home has just got away with that completely. That he's just like, everyone's forgiven it. And that's totally fine. It's just, but that's a deplorable thing to do. I was like, I kind of forgave it like near enough the day after it happened. Because it's just like, Arnie, it's like, it is a horrible thing, obviously. But
and if I knew him personally, it might affect. I might be like, "Oh, fuck you," you piece of shit. But I don't know him personally. I just know him as an actor.
It's just, but it was all consenting stuff. Might have been bad people's backs, which is obviously very dodgy and stuff. But like,
but at least it wasn't breaking the law, or it wasn't really harming anyone in a physical kind of sense.
Yeah. And maybe because that happened so many years ago. That I was so young when I was in that kind of mindset of like, that doesn't affect the movies, so why would I care? Do whatever you want in this personal life. Whereas exactly, R. Kelly is just like, oh no, you can't enjoy the music after all this. Like this is
that's actively harming people.
Yeah. But it was just amazing. So someone actually, in 2023 to go like, no, this Arnie should have been canceled. Like this should have been. This was a big deal that he did this. And I was like, I guess the world did just gonna go, whatever. Just moved on from it. But
fuck it.
I mean, we had to talk about it for a whole season of Batman, and we barely mentioned it. Like it was brought up, but it was also just like, still Terminator 2, all that stuff. Still the work's good, so.
If you make Terminator 2, you can get away with anything.
That's why James Cameron's still just like, I'm making more. I'm going to bring out another Avatar movie, and that's also going to make $2 billion. And somehow, this, I don't know. It's all blessings from Terminator 2. The universe is aligned in his favor after Terminator 2. It's just like, no matter what I make, it all makes $1 billion now.
Even if it sucks.
Yeah. It's like, everything about Avatar 2, not one single thing of that film appeals to me. And yet, apparently, it's one of the biggest films that's ever been made. And
I still don't know anyone who's watched it.
No, not in person. I know people on the internet who've watched it, and then they don't talk about it. Like, it's just that was 6 months ago. Like, no one cares about it anymore. They've already moved on from it.
It's The Simpsons again. I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah. But again, it's just like people still talking about freaking Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all that stuff years later. Star Wars, constantly. And Avatar is just like, oh no, it's done. It's away again. It'll go, and then we'll all go out again apparently to see it, and it'll make $3 billion with the next one.
Well, you're not getting a penny off me.
No. Even now it's on Disney Plus for free. I was like, nah, just not. It's just not the. Now I feel I'm going to sound pretentious, but it's just like, no, it's just not the second-rate Pocahontas movie.
And you're a second-rate Jeff. You're a third-rate Anthony Fandango, whatever he was.
I keep wanting to say Fandango, but then that's the ticket-selling place, so it can't be his name is Anthony Fandango. Like, that'd be that he has a music-based name already.
As everything goes back to this, it was a wrestler. Fandango.
You have to look up some people. I imagine there's some people out there will be like, for the love of God, he's like the biggest music critic on earth. You should know his name. He probably
is, but listeners, look, I'm a punk rocker. I don't give a shit.
Let's see, Anthony
I think it's Fantonio or Fantantonio.
Fantano, that's it.
Fantano, there you go.
Yeah.
We were close enough.
Yeah, it seems to only own 2 shirts, this guy. Every day you see, there's always a red check shirt, yellow check shirt. That's all he's got.
Maybe that's his character, like his gimmick. Or maybe it's like you with your hat.
It could be. But anywho, we're still trapped in the bathroom with Jeff and Jane.
Well, only for a second, because Jane hits him with a bag and heads home.
Oh, yeah. And then heard, you are terrible.
That sounds a bit, you are terrible. Like a little cheeky, you.
I think this has more the vibe of like, you ate my ice cream. What the hell? Like, oh, you're terrible.
I was saving that.
I hate living with you. But again, there's also the thing too of like, now go home. I will go home, but I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah. So she is doing what she's told.
Yeah, this should be a thing now. Or she's like, I'm gonna go stay with John.
Yeah.
Or she says she is, and then he's like, nope, and clicks the fingers, and he's just like to one of his goons, take her back to the house and make sure she stays there, kind of thing.
Oh, if she did go to John's, maybe there could be a scene at night where Jeff and the boys come around to like take her back.
Yeah. And
smash the place up.
It's bonkers. This scene is just filler, basically. You know, the hate when people always refer to like anything. This is like, it's not integral to the plot as filler, but this is like, it's giving us information we already know. It's giving us characterizations that we already know. It literally serves no purpose other than to fill time. It's not adding in anything. Not in terms of plots, not in terms of character, not in terms of acting, not in terms of soundtrack. It's just like, it's just there.
We do get the cool scene, though, like the bathroom set.
That's true.
Bathroom office.
And we do get the highlight of the scene, though, is by far, because we should mention in the background, I had to like rewatch the previous minute, too, just to make sure I thought I was going crazy for a second, because you do hear all the weights and stuff been lifted, and the kind of cranking of the machines and stuff like that. Yeah. And for a while, I thought, I was like, is that like ice cubes in a glass or something? What the hell is that noise? It was really bugging me. I was like, oh no, it's supposed to be the sound outside. But as Jane opens the door, there's a sound effect of a guy going like, yeah. I was like,
it's wonderful.
Who the hell is that? What was he doing? Like, was there an injury out there? Like, what's going on?
He's lifted a weight that's too heavy. He's like prolapsed.
No. It's going to be Jeff Capes. He's back from last week. He's out there. But no, it's just that little isolated thing. It only lasts the length of the door been open.
It just cuts off. Fantastic. Love it.
It really reminded me of there's a movie called Session 9 with it's like a horror movie from the early 2000s. It's got like a big cult following now. And it's got like David Caruso. Were we talking about David Caruso earlier as well? I thought that might have came back around, but
we talk about that much stuff.
But no, it's Session 9. It's a big, acclaimed low budget horror movie with David Caruso. But at one point, it uses in an integral scene a soundbite of a guy going, "Bark!" And I know that it's from Bottom. The BBC sitcom with Rick Mayall and Ade Edmondson, where they were just using stock sound effects that they had in the BBC sound bank, and they always use one of they throw a bottle out a window and you just hear a guy going "Bark!" And much like the Wilhelm scream, this one doesn't get used at all because it sounds so cheap and crap that it suits Bottom, because that's a kind of cheap crap show that's supposed to look cheap and crap. But Session 9 is supposed to be like, an atmospheric dark horror, and you're really getting involved in it. And every time they play that sound, it's like That's the BBC sound effects sound. I can't get past that. Now you've just shattered everything for me. It's all just lying in pieces on the floor now. So, yeah.
I am obsessed. To be honest, I wasn't as obsessed with this until you have pointed it out to me in the past. I don't think I ever picked up on the ridiculous noise.
Well, but we do get people still looking for an explanation. Is that whole fondling a butterfly thing I said earlier?
Yeah.
We do then cut to the outside of presumably Jeff's boys.
Yeah, I'm presuming it's the next morning. Because was it night before?
No,
it's kind of hard to tell.
I don't think it was. Oh no, it would have been night because they got the note at night, and then
I'm assuming she went straight from there to Jeff.
Yeah. So maybe we're saying that black marble. That could just be like a really dirty window he's got behind him.
It's just filth.
Yeah, it's just all that spackle. Oh, we thought it was spackle on the marble. It's like no, that's just dirt on the window and
dirt on the outside and sweat and spit on the inside. It's a gym after all.
And what you thought was like the parts of the tiles is like no, that's the blinds, and it's just like he just never cleans up the place. Like look who's he cleaning up for? These guys, like they're all slobs.
When you do see him the next day, they're just like straight chilling, relaxing, real nice. Just like, yeah, this is boss boys.
Yeah, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool.
Shooting some b-ball, maybe.
Yeah. There's your celebrity. Will he come back from? Will Smith. We're all still waiting for it. Other people listen to this now. It's like he's the president of the United States. What are you talking about? But,
wouldn't be surprised.
No. But no, you got the guy sitting doing on the hood of a Beamer, actually, because this looks like it's out in like a derelict waste site or some sort. And,
yeah, it's not a fancy BMW, is it? It's like an old rundown one.
Yeah, but the BMW 530 apparently looking between his legs there. And he's always got his pink hat on. He's out getting ready to go see Barbie.
He's got no socks on though.
Oh, it's my pet hate. My pet hate is like Jeff. I could get on board with the old pop collar thing, but then this like these guys he's hanging around with here, friggin' this Anthony Kiedis guy with his no sock policy. Get the hell out of here, man.
Not happy with that.
No, but yeah, he's doing the old what they call a butterfly knife. He's sitting just doing the little flick open and close thing, which is because I've handled one of those in the past. And it is just the natural compulsion every single time is to just like flip it open, flip it close.
I think that's because of a combination of watching too many movies and ADHD.
Well, I did discover, like, apparently there's championships of flicking them. It's one of these things that people have like turned this into. So it's just like a basic info about them. And so, their butterfly knife is believed, it's associated with the Philippines. That's commonly used by Philippines, like farmers and fishermen and stuff like that, and then in the military. But then others believe that in the 1800s, the French. The French
knives.
They are involved in trading with the Philippines and brought with them the butterfly knife, or a measurement tool called pied de roi, which means foot of the king.
Otherwise known as Taekwondo.
Yep, there you go. Taekwondo, John. Although that'll be the rival version is Taekwondo. Yeah. But yeah, apparently it's also referred to as the balisong. And yeah, from looking it up, there's like just guys online doing they have balisong championships and just flipping it and just doing all the little tricks to flip it open with your hand. And you can do it I can't describe it in audio form. You have to just see it for yourself to see the little maneuvers they're doing and stuff. But it's things like guys flipping it up around their shoulders and then catching it with one shoulder, and it always has to be the blades out facing away from you. Oh. It's all very risky stuff because it's still a blade. It's still, you could end up.
Yeah.
They're trying to throw it in the air and catch it with the blade facing out, and there's ones called the ice pick where you have to then grab it as if it is an ice pick you're about to stab into somebody's brain or whatever.
Holy crap!
It's but yeah, apparently balisong. So this guy, Anthony Kiedis here, he could be just in balisong training, getting ready for the local championships. You never know.
I like that idea because I could imagine that there is a street level kind of, at least in the Philippines, street level contests with it.
Oh yeah,
rather than a big tournament.
It's one of those things clearly born out of, again, probably ADHD and boredom. where you had people sitting for ages going, oh, it's cool, you can kind of flip it open like this. And then eventually they're like, look what I can do with it, though. And then eventually that goes up into people just getting really fascinated with it, but like, I have to see if I can do this with it, though, as well. And then eventually it just mounts up to like, I saw one video that was like 24 ballad song openings that you can do. I was like, 24? Well, Jesus Christ.
Why don't they just challenge Dragon Sound to a contest then and settle their beef that way?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, but then it turned out, though, Mark himself, I can imagine he knows his way around the ballad song. He knows his way around a song. We know that. But
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But no. The only other thing I really have about the ballad song is just it always reminds me of two things. It's just that bit in Falling Down, which we reviewed for the Bat Minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was a Patreon. That was when Joel Schumacher died, right? We did a special episode about Falling Down.
Indeed.
But that's one of the things that like Michael Douglas is slowly amassing his armory. Is like, I think he starts off with a baseball bat, and then the second thing he gets is like the butterfly knife.
Oh, yeah.
From the two like the street guys. And he's walking around going like, how do they do that? And kind of like trying to flick it himself and not being able to quite get it. And then, and talking about bringing things back to that 70s show, was the bit in Face Off where Castor Troy posing as John Travolta, like evil John Travolta, is like sees that John Travolta's actual daughter is going on a date with the guy who played Hyde in that 70s show. And it's all dated incredibly well now because he's like, take this with you. And he gives her like a butterfly knife, but it's like a really swanky curved blade in it and stuff.
Yeah. And
he remembers all his thing is like, if he does anything, stick this in his thigh, twist it, make sure to twist it because that'll really mess him up. And the fact that that's Hyde, and he was recently convicted of a plethora of sexual charges.
If only someone had stabbed him in the leg.
Yeah. It's just a real like, well, I guess even evil John Travolta called it in Face Off. He wasn't all bad. He was still trying to protect a teenage girl from the advances of friggin' Danny Masterson. So
I think that's the thing. Yeah, okay, he's a villain, but I don't know. He's more interesting than just he's bad.
It's an odd scene. I think it's just there to set up like that she's going to use that on him later, and she knows to stick it in his thigh and twist it. But it's just a thing of like, this guy killed like her little brother, like a 6-year-old boy or something, at the start, as if it was nothing to him. And then later on, he's like, "Well, you're dating a boy. Oh, you better take this for protection then." Like I guess though maybe it could be like at that point in the story, he's starting to. It's a part of his arc that he's starting to change a little bit and stuff.
I think that's what it's meant to be. Like it's living in this other sort of life is softening him.
Yeah,
and he doesn't like it almost.
He has that whole thing where it's like he's a better husband than the real John Travolta because he's actually attending to his family and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But then, through this experience, the real John learns how to be a better husband as well.
Yeah.
Going forward.
And then he just picks up Gina Gershon's kid along the way and then brings him home to be his replacement son for the one that he lost.
You can be our new son.
It is properly just like, and you see that woman standing there? She's going to be your new mother. You're coming home now, Gina Gershon's son.
Oh, that is the greatest YouTube video ever created.
Yeah. Anywho, I think I am officially noted out for minute 47.
I've only got two things. Number one, shirtless dude, of course. Take a drink.
Oh, damn, there was a shirtless dude after all the talking of the talk.
And the only other thing I'll say is, once again, we do get to see this female villain who doesn't pop up very much, but she's very cool. She's awesome. Why isn't she in the movie more? She reminds me of Barb from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, true. She does have a barbed vibe about her.
Yeah, Barb quality to her. And I just wish she was around more. You don't really see her. I mean, she might pop up in the background, but she's not got any like prominent scenes.
The thing is, though, because Barb's a much more modern reference. To me, she has a kind of what do you call it, Deirdre Barlow from Coronation Street.
That's a very English reference.
Yeah, but that was like, but over in this territory, if you said that at any point between 1979 and 2006. Everybody knew who you were talking about. So.
Then again, listeners, this is a character from a soap opera. When I was a kid, though, she got remarried and she was Deirdre Rashid.
What? I don't remember that era. Jesus Christ. Yeah. She also does look very weirdly like previous guest of Bat Minute, Anna Bagutska, has the same kind of...
a lot. Holy shit.
Yeah. So I have to go and tweet Anna and be like, do you realize you have a doppelganger in Miami Connection?
Holy fuck. Incredible.
That's my long-lost sister.
Actually, I suppose I do have one other one, because the commentary track has one brief thing that I found, I don't want to say informative, it's the opposite. The guy interviewing them asks if, at the time of the film, Orlando had lots of gangs of street kids and the like, causing mischief. Like, did that inspire the plot? Kim says, nope, not at all. So, okay, thanks. Yeah,
they do now, inspired by Miami Connection.
Yeah, it led to a terrible increase in crime. That's why we had to bury the movie.
Yeah, that's why when they came and told me, like, they call it again, the Alamo Draft House, when they found the movie. That's why I kept hanging up on them. I was like, no, you put that back in the box. Like,
it's cursed.
Just for the love of God, Pandora, put it away.
I just love it. It's like the guy asking a very insightful question. Like, oh, surely something inspired this, something real. Nah, we just came up with it. It's just make believe. Thanks for that. Yeah, great. Really, really informative. We loved that conversation.
Yeah, well. I then find out then, Florida is one of the safest states in the... I mean, it's plenty about, alligators and stuff running around. I don't know. They got their own problems. They don't need the street gangs, quite frankly. The teens are just like, let's just behave because this town's already crazy enough.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked as it is.
Yeah.
But on that note, yes, I am noted out.
As am I.
So yes, we will break that connection. We are available on all social media to have a little chit-chat. We're on Facebook at the Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage, Twitter at Miami Minutes, Instagram Miami Minutes, Threads Miami Minutes. Why do I keep listed? They're all Miami Minutes. It's not like Bat Minute where you have to get different ones. Just look at Miami Minutes. We're everywhere. And go to our website, miamiminutes.kim, if you'd rather listen on there. If you think to yourself, the way I'm listening is shit, you can do it on the website. I mean, that's all the website's for. There's nothing else on there. It's just hosting the episode. So go and listen. And we'll be back in 1 week with more Miami Minutes.
All right. Listen to me.